Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now is Ojy Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hey, Ojy.
Good morning, Leila.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are
and
you?
happy birthday to you.
Don't even start, Leila.
It was your birthday yesterday.
24 hours late.
Yes.
I wish you a happy
But I
birthday.
did wish her. I did wish her a happy birthday.
You want me to blush?
No, you have to blush. But happy birthday. I hope you had a great day.
I did.
Yes.
Thank you.
I've been asking you where are we having the party?
I was going to say exactly.
Yeah, actually, Doctor messaged me yesterday, where's the party? I was like, I'm going to say no party now, and I'm going to look so sad.
Yeah.
This morning.
I know. I killed all of Tundun's dreams this morning.
You did? What happened?
What did you do last night? What for your birthday? I was expecting.
Yeah.
And I was like, nothing. I was like,
Some people were
But
protesting that they
Tunde,
didn't
you
know.
don't even go out. So
I want other people to go out.
Oh, you want other people to go out?
So I can live. I wanted
You
to
both
live
don't go out.
vicariously through Layla.
Why don't we all live
I made
vicariously
her
through me now?
Exactly. Now we can all live
Dr.
vicariously
Bati,
through
don't
me.
worry, you'll be invited.
So, Ojy, did you go out and celebrate my birthday yesterday?
Yes, I
How
was.
was it?
It was great, fantastic.
Amazing,
I had
thank you.
2 double vodkas on you. Well, 23, so now you're allowed to drink, right?
Just about, I think. May need a couple more years.
We should let me know,
I'm
yes.
20 years older than you,
I know, right?
I love it. I love it when you speak.
Let's get to business.
Good morning,
What do you
Dr.
have?
Abati. How are you?
What's in store?
All right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. We begin what's trending today in Nigeria. Nigerians on social media are outraged over the death of a lady identified as Moradeun, who was reportedly robbed and stabbed on Monday night after a hospital in Lagos allegedly denied her treatment without a police report. The lady's sister on social media shared that Moradeun was on her way home from work when she was robbed and stabbed. She took to her Twitter and wrote to activist Segun Awosoya, "Please help me, I beg you. My heart can't take it, please. My sister was on her way back home from work to her house in Bagada around 7 p.m. She was robbed and she was also stabbed. People were watching. Sir, I don't know, please. What would you have done?" Then bystanders later rushed her to our Jolad Hospital in Bagada, but the doctors said they cannot treat her except she has a police report. Ah, sir, someone was stabbed in the neck. Police report that what, sir? My sister is dead. Someone, please pinch me. Who will help me like this? I mean, this was the saddest thing I read yesterday. I couldn't believe what happened to this young lady from Bagada. I don't understand why a hospital will deny treatment of this young girl who was apparently bleeding in the neck. She was stabbed, and they saw that she was bleeding, and they waited for her to die. I mean, I don't understand what could have happened.
There's no
with
other
this.
word but evil. Every doctor in the world has to take the Hippocratic Oath. You're supposed to help
Absolutely.
people. As far as I'm concerned, the accessories to her murder. How do you watch somebody bleed out in a hospital?
I am glad that they
This
have
is
called
evil.
out this particular hospital.
I agree with you that this is very sad and that what the hospital did is condemnable. Unfortunately, the hospital has not been identified.
They have. They've also come out themselves.
Then, of course, friends and family of the lady can press charges.
Yes.
Because the background to this is as follows. Now, once upon a time in this country, many hospitals, doctors refused to treat, in particular, gunshot victims or persons who were attacked also by armed robbers and sustained injuries. And the excuse for that is that, these hospitals and the proprietors did not want to get involved in police trouble, as they call it in Nigeria, because if you were to treat somebody attacked by an armed robber or who has a gunshot wounds, you could be asked to come to the police station to write a statement, and you could become part of a long process of litigation. Now, because of the public outrage against this, in 2017, there was a compulsory treatment and care for victims of gunshot act of 2017, passed by the National Assembly and assented to by the president at the time. And that particular law criminalizes, any attempt not to give care to anybody who is a victim of gunshot or an attack, by armed robbers or by anybody out of fear of getting embroiled in a legal case. And it prescribes penalties for hospitals or medical doctors or nurses who fail to provide the duty of care. And the principle behind that particular piece of legislation is, as pointed out by Tundu, that life is more important than your own fears, and that as a doctor you have a responsibility, to preserve life. Perhaps if this particular hospital had responded, timeously, maybe the lady would have been saved. The other part of the matter, of course, is the reimagined or the resurgence of the threat of armed robbery in Nigeria. There was a time in this country also when people said, oh, it looks like we've gone past the days of, Anini, the notorious armed robber.
The notorious Pombini, yes.
What is the name of the other one? Is it Oyeshiku or Oye?
Shino Rambo.
Shino Rambo, that's another notorious one. Because the criminals have taken to drug peddling. Some of them had left the country. Yahoo had become popular. But one of the most disturbing things recently is how armed robbery is becoming, an increasing threat. And lives have been lost, families have been attacked. And the overall indication is that the security authorities should take special notice of this and see how they can approach the threat with the same determination with which they are approaching banditry, terrorism, and kidnapping. We commiserate with the families and friends of the late lady.
Yeah, it's absolutely tragic. What I was going to say is the hospital's reports, and they came out saying that they didn't refuse to treat her, that what happened is they didn't have the facilities to do so and they referred her somewhere else. Now, that's not the story that's being given. If that's what they're going off, I just wanted to put out what they're saying so that's also clear. But this is just so tragic because this is something that's recurring. Even last year, we had reports of, was it not Reddington and Ikeja refusing to treat someone because of gunshot wounds and they didn't know if that person was a perpetrator of violence. That's not what the fact of the matter is.
But I mean, I don't understand what that statement, what does that statement even mean?
It's just uneducated. It's just the most uneducated thing, because at the end of the day, if you were a doctor, whether you like it or not, you have to put health first. You have to put lives first. That's just how it is. I'm sorry, that's what you chose when you chose to study medicine.
I think the explanation by the hospital, although, you have not named the hospital, I think the hospital should be named.
Yes, it is named. I will tell you. Well, you know what? Afterwards, Dr. Bati, there has since been outpouring of love from friends of Moradeun, all of them, sharing stories about the impact she's had in their lives and lamenting the practice of and demanding police reports before treatment. One of her friends, Moboluwa Jinde, wrote, Moradeun was very friendly. Moradeun was a caring heart. Moradeun was a loving soul. Moradeun bridged gap. Moradeun didn't deserve the inhumane act of our Jolad Hospital, Bagada, Lagos State.
So it's Jolad Hospital,
yes.
Bagada, Lagos.
Moradeun was stabbed in the neck. Moradeun was dying, yet they didn't attend to Moradeun.
Oh, my God.
Okay, then another friend, Tunde, wrote, this country has failed us. They are not going to escape with this one. Moradeun was going about her life and she was stabbed and robbed. This can't continue in this country with the hashtag Get Justice for Moradeun, and that's what's been trending all over social media.
How do you watch a young woman like that with her whole life ahead of her? How do you watch her bleed out and not help her?
And then saying that they didn't have the facility to take care of a stab on the neck,
It's so bad because they claim that they needed a vascular surgeon. I'm sorry, the first thing you need to do is stop the bleeding.
We all know
that. And you're talking about a vascular surgeon?
It's so
well, not being medical doctors and not, having the expertise and not being on the scene, it may be difficult for us to, correctly assess the
right.
What we can say is that the explanation that has been given by this hospital should not just be taken hook, line, and sinker at face value.
Right.
I think that, the police should still conduct an investigation.
Yes.
Because here we're talking about life.
Yes.
Was there a case of negligence on the part of the hospital and the doctors and nurses on duty? The excuse that they have given, is it believable?
Right.
If they said they referred, the victim of the attack to an hospital, another hospital, do they have proof of that referral?
Right.
And are there witnesses, to corroborate their story.
Exactly.
These are some of the issues that can come up. Otherwise, they should be held liable, for their own.
The main outrage is the request for police report. So that's the main outrage.
In
an emergency situation, that's the main outrage.
I've just quoted an existing law to say that is illegal.
Yeah, so they have to be prosecuted.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
What's that lady's name in the House of Reps? That was her bill, wasn't it? In the House
I don't remember who proposed
I remember, her name is
It received enthusiastic support.
Yeah,
right.
The lady
Well, it should. I know a bunch of three of my friends have died because of this particular reason, the request for a police report before treatment in an emergency situation.
You have
like
to be a barbarian to ask for a police report.
Jungle justice. I don't understand how that's not 2 + 2. That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yes,
there's no other way
you have to have all your human instincts completely deadened.
Yeah.
To see somebody in need of urgent treatment.
I'm glad that we have brought this to limelight, and I hope that the police will investigate this.
One more point to make. Yes, the public health system in Nigeria is not in good shape. Many of these private hospitals, because the Nigerian Medical Association has had cause when that law, was enacted, to say that yes, it's good for the public to say doctors should do their job, but that doctors in Nigeria are also facing a lot of challenges. And many of these private hospitals, they don't receive any kind of support. They also suffer a lot. But all of those excuses, either from the proprietors of private hospitals or the Nigerian Medical Association, do not justify, the waste of human life.
Absolutely not.
If there are challenges, the various authorities will need to address that, so that the public hospitals function. Even in that particular situation, Moradeun's friends would not have taken her to a public hospital. There's a public hospital in Bagada.
Right.
They probably will not go there.
Right.
They will want to go to a private hospital.
Where she can get the right,
they will not even get the best in a public hospital.
And the armed robbers, let's not forget the armed robbers. They have to be apprehended and prosecuted. I mean, this is evil.
And the fact that it's coming up again, because even last month there were reports about armed robbers being stationed outside 1004 in that axis in Lagos at night, and a lot of people coming forward to say, I was nearly attacked. And we're hearing of armed robbery reports going on all over Lagos right now. It's so scary.
It really is.
It's so scary, because the fact that this is a resurgence again, something that everyone thought had died out. Even last year I was saying, wow, when I was so young and armed robbers
used to be so scared of armed robbers,
and now it's like gone. But hey, it's back again.
No, it hasn't been gone. It's been around. It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
So
we'll take a short break and then we'll come back for more trending stories. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Ojy Okpe is still with us, giving us stories trending around the world. Over to you.
Well, still in Nigeria, the Anambra State Command of the Nigerian Police Force has declared Ojy Okpe, indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, wanted over the killing of 2 police officers in the state. On Monday, 2 policemen were reportedly killed by some youth in Ekusigo local government area of Anambra State for allegedly attacking the house of Ojy Okpe. According to reports, in retaliation for the attack on Lawyer's house, some youths in the community killed 2 policemen and burnt them at a community market. Images of the burnt policemen have been circulating on social media. The Commissioner of Police in the state, John Abang, yesterday declared the barrister wanted for their murder. I don't know if you guys saw these images of these police officers circulating on social media. They were in the back of a truck, completely burnt, black.
Charred
in
the
truck yesterday. Which a community is called Orafite.
Right.
Is Ekusigo local government in Anambra State.
Yes.
Where this barrister, lives, this lawyer lives, was stormed by a combined team of policemen and soldiers. And at the end of the day, people had to flee from the community. Persons were reportedly brutalized by the security people. Houses were, stormed. And at the end of the day, the people decided to take the laws into their hands in retaliation. And they attacked the police. And they burned down a police vehicle. They also set 2 policemen ablaze. The pictures of the policemen, have been circulating on social media. But now, for the killing of those 2 policemen, there is a call for the lawyer, Ojy Okpe, by the security authorities. They want to hold him answerable, for the killing of those 2 policemen, on the assumption, of course, that he was the one who probably organized a retaliatory attack. But the version of the story, there are 2 different versions. The police version is different from that of the community. But, I mean, what is going on is clearly unfortunate. And I think that the police should be more diligent in identifying the actual perpetrators.
Because I don't know how the arrest of the barrister will bring out these perpetrators.
Because we cannot have a situation whereby, no matter the level of provocation, people take the law into their hands.
Yes, how dare they kill the police officer?
Jungle justice.
Yes.
That is a very bad comment on not just police-civilian relations, but also, on the state of insecurity in our country.
Yeah, if you're going to bring him forward, at least also find the actual killers too. You can't just say you're going to hold one man accountable for a murder that his hands didn't have the blood on at the end, or the blood wasn't on his hands for. You have to be able to come forward and say you're going to go that far and find out who actually did this. Unless they're going to let it go, which is clearly what it's looking like they want to do.
Yeah.
And the impression that is being created is that, Nnamdi Kanu is a fugitive from the law.
Right.
He jumped bail. The impression that the people have is that, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, his lawyer, is being harassed and intimidated for that particular reason.
Yes. That's what it would look like if the actual perpetrators are not, gone after. It's a mess. Yeah. The horrible, tragic death of these men should not be politicized in any way. A crime has been committed. Those who committed the crime should be apprehended. They should be prosecuted.
Yes, well, awful. The commissioner has already also, the statement that he made was that anyone who knows anything about these perpetrators should absolutely come up. But I also just wanted to talk more about that, the images that were circulating on social media of those policemen. I remember we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, about this one woman who was burnt with her baby, circulating on social media. I don't know if that is acceptable or not in any way whatsoever.
The way those images circulate, I wouldn't mind if they went and put a bill forward to try and stop that. If you want to really target anything, go and target that. Go target that. It's terrible. You can't do that.
I haven't seen it, and I will just never, ever
I can't bring myself to. And people that share them, it's
really disrespectful. Today, we're talking about the newspapers on Daily Trust. We're talking about the Wadume situation where those soldiers were supposed to be court-martialed. When those policemen were murdered, those images were circulated as well. It's really disrespectful to the dead. It's wrong.
I like that point about the bill to come out and really stop that circulation of graphic images of late people. Well, over to Ghana now. The chairman of the Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erawa, has condemned the renewed attacks on Nigerian traders in Ghana, describing it as uncalled for. On Monday, 6 persons were arrested over clashes between Ghanaian and Nigerian traders. It was alleged that the fight followed the closure of shops belonging to some Nigerian traders at Kwame Nkrumah Circle in Accra by some Ghanaian traders supported by the police. Ms. Dabiri has appealed to Nigerians in Ghana, especially the shop owners, not to take the law into their own hands by engaging in reprisals. The Ghanaian High Commission in Nigeria has yet to respond to the latest incident as of this time of the filing of a report. Well, this case in Ghana, I mean, just knowing that of recent, we're thinking that the xenophobic attacks have really calmed down. Then we hear this in Ghana. I mean, reports and fights going on against Nigerians. I don't understand what's really happening.
Well, this is not new. I mean, we've been having this challenge with the Minister of Trade of Ghana coming to Nigeria to meet with our counterpart in Nigeria, and perpetual reassurance from the Ghanaian authorities that this is not, with the blessing of the Ghanaian government. But of course, there was a piece of regulation that the Ghanaian government made available at a time, imposing certain categories of levies on foreigners who will be involved in certain kinds of businesses. Foreigners, engaged in trade in Ghana are supposed to engage in certain kinds of business, some kind of protectionist, piece of legislation, which Nigerian traders in Ghana complained about at the time. But you have this Ghanaian Union of Traders Association in Ghana, always protesting, as we have had the similar case in South Africa.
Yes.
That Nigerians and other Africans have dominated retail trade, in their markets. And so there's this constant conflict, particularly when you have Nigerians selling recharge cards, Nigerians repairing telephone, Nigerians selling electronics, either in Ghana or in South Africa or even in Guinea. There's that resentment that these Nigerians are dominating retail trade. But it's very unfortunate that despite all the assurances, by the Ghanaian government, we still have this happening. But this latest wave of attacks, on November 11, 70 Nigerian businesses were shut down in Nigerian markets, markets in Accra. There have also been similar attacks on Nigerian traders in Kumasi. And then this latest one at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle in Accra. The complaint this time is that Nigeria has shut its border against imports and exports, and that is affecting business in Ghana. So the Ghanaians are now saying that, look, if you don't want to trade, then don't come here and open shops. Go back to your country. And the Ghanaian leadership had also expressed concern, and there have been appeals, even from as far as Ghana to the Nigerian government, to reconsider the closure of the border. So we shouldn't just take this as a case of conflict among traders, Ghanaians and Nigerians, but to look at it in terms of maybe it's a fallout of the closure of the border, and what are the sentiments of ordinary people, people-to-people diplomacy across West Africa. But whatever finding we come up with, it doesn't justify the resort to self-help
at all.
By Ghanaian traders.
Yes, we've seen the ripple effect of the border closure, but also to reiterate your fact, these Nigerians, they're domiciled in Ghana. So they shouldn't try to justify it in any way by closing their shops. I don't think it's necessary.
And that's unfortunately what happens when people are already aggrieved and you make people more aggrieved, it's about managing emotions, managing people as a whole. If people can't do business, they're going to retaliate in ways that they didn't even expect to themselves. And it's unfortunate, but you do see people acting out. What's important is for people to remember that there's still a governing system that you must come back to, and you can't take matters into your own hands. No one is above the law.
Absolutely. Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll see you
guys tomorrow.
Hopefully fun news tomorrow.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.